guys, so we're down at the pool today talking about one of the very popular topics in swimming, which is the hip rotation and the rotation in swimming. Now, we've had a lot of questions, comments, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, people wondering, what do I do with my hips? How should they be looking? It doesn't matter if you're a triathlon swimmer, competitive swimmer, or a adult swimmer that just wants to get better at your swimming. Hip rotation is a very, very important part. Now, I'm very lucky. I'm down at the pool with one of our swim tutors, Joshua Parrish. He's a national level swimmer. He actually has a very, very interesting story about hip rotation. So I'm not going to jump in and tell the story. I'm going to let him tell it. Let's go down and meet him now.
So the thing about hip rotation and shoulder rotation is there may be a lot of misconceptions out there. So when we're actually swimming, we want to try and lessen our hip rotation, okay? Because when we're swimming, we're naturally going to want to swing our hips. So when we rotate with our shoulders, naturally our body's going to go with it. What I learned very, very late in my career, and unfortunately I started having a back problem towards the end of my career, and it was due to over-rotating and overcompensating on my stroke. I was breathing that way when I was swimming, and that made me drop my left hip, so then my right arm would have to compensate and slide outwards because my hips were over rotated, and that caused me to start having a back problem in my career. So when we're swimming, or when I was swimming actually, my thought process and my little hooks or my little thought patterns was when I was breathing, I would want to try and drop my left hip to try and compensate back into my stroke so I wouldn't be sweeping out. So then I would have a nice strong high elbow and just catch water instantly and then go through the rest of my stroke. So the thing is, when we're swimming, when we actually do over rotate with our hips, that's when we start having all these funky things. We might be outward sweeping, we might be inward sweeping, we might be starting to pull with our elbows. So that's what happens when we over rotate. And once we start over rotating, we lose that connection in the body. Remember, what we want to be doing is feeling that connection from of our fingers all the way through our body to our opposite toe. So once we start to over rotate, we're going to lose the connection, we're going to lose the strength, and that's when we start doing all these weird, silly things at the front of our stroke, and then that's where we start getting shoulder problems and all those kinds of things in our swimming. And this is relevant for everyone, so it doesn't just affect one category of swimmer. This is for everyone. This relates to open water swimmers, this relates to triathletes, it relates to adult swimmers who are just trying to get better or going for a swim on a Sunday morning. This relates to everyone, and if we can all focus and think about these things, this is how we can all get that 1% better. So enough of the theory, let's put this into practice. Dan's gonna run me through some real life different pacing to see how different pace affects different hip rotation. So let's get into it.
So guys, we are down at the pool now, and I'm gonna be running Josh Parrish through about a 70% effort, an 85% effort, and then 100% effort. And now what we're looking for is the difference between the hip rotation on the various speeds. And I'm gonna give you guys one of our secret drills that helps you correct the rotation and get the feeling of what it should feel like. So let's go and get into it. So guys, we've just put Josh through a couple of different places. We've got 70%, 85%, and then 100%. Now what you guys would have seen up on the screen right now is the faster he goes, the less his hips rotate. So the principle that we want you guys to understand is the slower you go, the more your hips are gonna rotate. The biggest thing that we want you guys to understand is, Josh, you don't wanna over-rotate when you're swimming, okay? So there's still gonna be hip movement in our swimming. Let's not think that we're gonna be perfect, stiff board, nice and straight. So the one thing that we wanna focus on, the one thing we don't wanna lose when we're trying to lengthen our stroke is the connection in our stroke, and we don't wanna over-rotate our hips, because then that's what leads to, you know, all that funky stuff I said before. So yes, we're still gonna have some hip rotation, but we don't wanna over-rotate to try and get the length out of the stroke and lose the connection of that. So guys, as promised, we're gonna take you in the pool now and give you our secret drill to help you get used to the feeling of not over-rotating and starting to really isolate the hips so you can practice that rotation. We're gonna go into the pool now and give you our secret drill. Let's do it.
So guys, we are moving in now to our secret drill. Now this is a very simple drill. What we want to do is cross our arms across our chest, just like Josh has here. And what we're doing, want to be nice and flat in the water. And what we want to do is only rotate the upper body. Now you'll see what we're going to do with this drill in a moment. And what we're doing is trying to keep that body nice and straight, only rotating that upper body. Because remember guys, swimming is a feeling-based sport. That's why we do drills, because we want to feel how it feels. Now, we're making this quite easy for him, but if you want to make it even easier for yourself, you can put fins on. Feel like your body's sinking a bit and you're finding it too hard, you can just put fins on. So let's see how we implement this drill into the full stroke now. So guys, you can see here what we're trying to do now is we're going straight into that rotation drill. So this principle here is you want to go about 15% of the lap, even 15 to 20% of the lap in this nice rotation drill. And then you want to progress that into the full stroke like Josh is doing here. You see here his hips already are looking a little bit better and he's got a bit more connection in the hips. So guys, now it's your turn to go out and get to work. Remember, swimming is a feeling-based sport. The whole reason why we do these drills is to isolate areas of the stroke, for this one being the hip movement. So it's now your turn to go out and get to work. We'll see you in the next video.